When we examine the surveillance map for the parish, almost 80% of all communities are showing active cases, with persons showing varying degrees of severity of illness.
That's the alarming prevalence of COVID-19 infection across Westmoreland. The cases have been spiraling due to illegal parties at bars and corner shops, nights and bike shows in the parish. But these instances are not just relegated to Westmoreland. Hanover, St. James, Trelawney and St. Anne are also seeing increases in the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. We have to be responsible. It's our actions this Christmas season that will determine if our children can return to school in January, if our businesses will rebound from losses, and if our general way of life will return to some semblance of normalcy. Let's play our part by adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. Wear a mask while in public, observe the 6 feet apart rule, wash hands regularly, and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. We can, we should, we must build forward together.
Small businesses like mine continue to serve the needs of people.
We all play a part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning, and we do so responsibly.
We are building forward
together.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, December 14. Government is looking to make outstanding payments this month to beneficiaries under 2 components of its $10 billion COVID-19 Allocation of Resources for Employees CARE program. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement last Thursday. The outstanding payments fall under the Supporting Employees with the Transfer of Cash (SET Cash) and the Business Employee Support and Transfer of Cash (BEST Cash) programs. Minister Clark says some disbursements for the 3-month period from September to November have not yet been made, partly due to incompletion of the processing of payments.
But I have been assured that the processing will be complete for all of those payments to be made in December. So it's likely that those who are on the SET Cash and BEST Cash program will get several. It will be a good December.
The SET Cash program provides grants for workers with taxable income of up to $1.5 million who were laid off or lost their jobs as at March 10, when the first confirmed COVID-19 case was recorded in Jamaica. BEST Cash provides grants to support businesses in tourism and related sectors so they can retain employees with taxable incomes of $1.5 million or less. Approximately 50,000 persons have been receiving stipends under both components since the payments commenced mid-year. Another 150 JUTC buses are to see improvement in performance with the continued implementation of an oil filtration system. Information Minister Favour Williams says Cabinet has approved a $251 million contract for the supply of the El Hydro Clean Oil Bypass Filtration System to the state-run bus company.
For the provision of technical and professional advice, materials, and to perform all attendant operations in the implementation of Phase 3 of the El Hydro Clean Oil Bypass Filtration System project.
Minister Williams was addressing a recent post-cabinet press briefing. She said the system could eliminate water and particle contamination, extending oil life by up to 5 times and hydraulic oil up to 10 times, reducing engine and component wear and dramatically reducing downtime. 9 students at Mona Heights Primary in St. Andrew are the latest beneficiaries on the government's 1 laptop or tablet per child initiative. The tablets were handed over to students during a ceremony at the institution recently.
We have the devices, and presentations like this is helping to get more devices into the hands of our students. Layer on top of that are the well over 20,000 teachers who have been trained on the Google Suite Learning Management System, which is what they use to create the virtual classroom so they can meet the students.
5 of the devices were donated by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, 3 by the UWI Mona School of Business and Management, and 1 from the Closet Box. Meanwhile, 28 tablets have been donated to grade 6 students at the Ocherius Primary School in St. Anne. The devices, which have been outfitted with internet service, were donated by the Sandals Foundation in partnership with the Digicel Foundation.
To Digicel, we thank you for coming on board. It is because of their donation of SIM cards with 2 months of free educational data, the students can stay connected and online, because these tablets have the capacity for both Wi-Fi and for data.
Sandals Foundation, through its Lessons Alive initiative, has committed to donating over 1,400 tablets to students across the island. Education Minister Favour Williams thanked the organizations for their support of government's efforts.
I want to thank Sandals and all the partners who joined with Sandals to make this possible today on behalf of our children. The education sector, and Jamaica by extension, is on a journey, on a digital journey, to ensure that all our students in the education sector have the skills to operate in the 21st century.
Jamaicans at home and abroad are being invited to grant a wish for a child in state care this Christmas season. The initiative is being undertaken by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. Chief Executive Officer of the CPFSA, Rosalie Gage Gray, says each child has been asked to write a wish or two that they want granted, and companies and individuals are being encouraged to grant those wishes. Interested persons and organizations should contact the CPFSA's regional offices or its public relations department at 876-967-1614. Persons living overseas who wish to make monetary contributions should email info@childprotection.gov.jm for further details. Those donating gifts may drop them off at any of the CPFSA's regional offices across the island. Deadline for the gift drop-offs is Monday, December 21 at 5 p.m. And finally, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is promising a garbage-free Christmas this year. During last week's post-cabinet media briefing, NSWMA's Executive Director, Audley Gordon, said about 80% of the backlog caused by recent rains had been cleared. He said a plan was also in place to address additional garbage pileup in heavy vending and commercial areas this Christmas season.
We've already met with the teams, we've already allocated as necessary, and so there should be no difficulty managing the excess garbage that will come around at this time. So yes, Jamaica can expect a clean Christmas, and we commit to that.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
COVID-19 is still here. Think twice before you touch the road.
Turn on your yard and feel the vibes.
Yes, enjoy, have fun, but remember, do it responsibly. Stay home, wear your mask, sanitize, keep your distance.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Government has been steadfast in its commitment to improve the efficiency in the public service. One of the avenues being pursued to achieve this is the Jamaica House Fellowship Program. Get the details next.
Jamaica will be at its best when its most talented graduates see a career in public service as among their highest possible ambitions.
And so the Jamaica House Fellowship Program was born. The aim, to expose young Jamaicans to public administration with the hope that they'll make public service their preferred career path. And from all indications, the strategy has been working.
So I am Lavoy Cruikshank. I'm a Senior Credit Analyst here at the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica, the Exit Bank.
I am Karel Samuda, and I am a Special Advisor at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
Aubrey Stewart, Data and Research Specialist for the Ministry of National Security.
In 2016, Prime Minister Andrew Holness set out to transform the public sector. One of the avenues was the establishment of a program, the Jamaica House Fellowship, that targets bright young persons and shapes them into becoming efficient and effective leaders. This would be achieved through their participation in governance and policy decision-making processes. These young persons would work on, support, and implement high-priority initiatives and objectives.
The successful candidates enjoy the unique experience of interacting with members of the cabinet and senior officials in the Office of the Prime Minister and other ministries, departments, and agencies.
Each Jamaica House Fellow would receive a 2-year full-time paid internship and get support from technocrats and policymakers within the public sector.
What we are interested in is creating entrepreneurs. We want you to come into the organization, understand the rules, respect the history and tradition, but at the same time, figure out how we can look towards improving those rules, re-engineering those processes to become more efficient.
In 2017, 8 talented young Jamaicans were selected to be a part of the program. They met regularly to create reports, which were later reviewed and submitted. Some of these reports are now being actioned within their respective ministries.
The first one is the Marcus Garvey Public Sector Graduate Scholarship Program that I started while I was a fellow and then continued when I transitioned from the fellowship to my current role. I was there from the conceptual stage until the launch, so I was really excited about that. You will have heard the Minister of Finance speak of the Fiscal Council, the eventual establishment of the Fiscal Council, and I was heavily involved in the development of that, so I'm really excited. And then on another front, I've been working with colleagues here at the Ministry of Finance on our disaster risk financing policy and also our role on the international stage through the Coalition of Finance Ministers for Climate Action.
I was one of the fellows who was appointed to the National Identification System project. I was appointed initially to the Economic Growth Council, and I've worked on key government policies, whether it's from the NHT, whether it's from the whole program as well, and whether it's even assisting with speech development. So it was pretty flexible, and it brought me here to the ministry, which I've worked on quite a number of social intervention strategies and policies. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Working with the EDI project, youth empowerment in the digital animation industries, a World Bank funded project which allowed creatives the opportunity to explore themselves and to get the funding to explore themselves. I worked in finance in that program, moving it from the state where it was to the amazing project that it is now. But my work here, I was assigned to the Exim Bank in July 2018 in strategic planning and research, which allowed me to support the management and the managing director here at Exim in the formulation of strategy to allow small businesses access to finance. That has been my favorite project so far.
The program followed up with its second cohort in 2020. This time around, 7 persons were selected.
The resumes, the CVs that I've seen are quite impressive. And I'm hopeful that some of you will decide from early to make the career path that of the public service.
It was a very tedious process from application to being successfully selected. So if it is that you want to apply to become a Jamaica House Fellow, be prepared to go through that rigorous process of selection and to just give your best.
Application forms are downloaded from and filled out on the program's website. Once submitted, applications undergo a 3-tier selection process. Under Level 1, the candidate's qualification is reviewed.
We required an undergraduate degree, minimum of 1 year experience. You had to show that you carried out community work, community service, and you had to upload 2 essays as well, right? We also required the names of 3 referees.
At Level 2, a deeper analysis of the candidate's qualification is conducted. This includes a look at work experience and the level of responsibility of each applicant. There is also the processing of leadership, problem-solving and analytical skills, major accomplishments, and impact made on the community. From that process, the most qualified candidates are shortlisted. And at level 3, applicants go through an interview process and are required to respond to a case study.
You will get first-hand exposure to policy development. You will get first-hand exposure to policy implementation and project implementation. You will get to understand, the demands that are placed on government, and I hope that will now stimulate thoughts in your minds as to how this can be improved.
Among other things, deliver the following: prepare policy briefs, technical reports, assist with drafting submissions, concept papers, frameworks and systems for comprehensive and integrated implementation of national plans and priorities, carry out general research, qualitative and quantitative. You are also required to participate in any training sessions, seminars, very importantly, think tank sessions.
I'm excited to get my foot into a lot of different projects that I can give my unique perspective as an economist.
I am currently pursuing a master's in public policy and management. So this is all about the application of the theories that I learned.
This would give me the chance to develop my leadership skills and actually apply what I have been learning in the International Youth Fellowship to national development.
I hope to actually, through this program, at least start conversations around creating a more meaningful and a more engaging environment and an enabling environment for the citizens of Jamaica at large.
I hope to give my knowledge base and expertise, my passion, my thirst for service, as well as as my thirst for knowledge and my team working sensibilities.
We often think leadership is leading from the front, but it is servant leadership that I like to ascribe to, and that is leading through service. And so I want to be able to lead my country, contribute to nation building, but through a service, from a service platform.
It truly is a program that offers prestige. It's an honor and a privilege for me to have been selected from 87 applicants.
Come in, learn as much as you can learn, and the most important thing is for you to display the correct attitude. No matter what you have come with, there's always something more for you to learn.
We all created businesses together, so it has benefited not only me, but the entire group. So trust me, the fellowship has been a total success.
They say that experience is the teacher of all wisdom, and I believe the exposure and the experience you get from the fellowship will impact your life beyond what you would imagine.
When you're given opportunities that may not seem like an immediate fit, sort of still tackle that challenge because they learn so much during that process.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
The Prime Minister recently announced that private social gatherings should not exceed 15 persons. I know this measure doesn't sit well with many, but it's for the best as we work towards containing the coronavirus. So while you're turning your yard, you may try your hand at winemaking.
For thousands of years, man has been enjoying the delights of wine, the tasty alcoholic fluid which is the byproduct of fermented sugar and forms a key component on menus during festive periods. Whether it's dry, sweet, or the sparkling variety, you can learn to make your own as an amateur fermenting for home use or a professional running a lucrative business. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA is fueling local interest by providing training in basic winemaking for persons in farming communities where there's an abundance of suitable raw materials. Today we're in class, learning the rudiments for the amateur winemaker.
This is one way we can utilize our fruits and our vegetables. You can use things like breadfruit too, but the thing is, it's nice to use the breadfruit when it's lush and ripe. You know, when you're ready to throw it, you say plaka plaka. That is when you use it because you get a real nice flavor from it. You use your soursop, you use everything that is there and get value from it. We talk about adding value and making the country go in terms of economics. That's the means. We have a lot of herbs like our guinea hen or aloe vera and so forth. So the home doing winemaking is one means of utilizing all of those. And now that it's Christmas, if you had set your wine, say from June, July, you wouldn't have to buy some gifts because you could prepare your gifts. Wine is basically a juice that you're allowed to ferment. And how you work the juice is what gives you a good wine or gives you vinegar. No, there are three types of wine. This is yeast, and it is the main source of your winemaking. The sugar is what feeds the yeast, producing the alcohol and the CO2. When you're ready to do your thing, what you can do is put a little water in a container, dissolve, and then you can put this in it. And if it stays there and bubbles and starts like it's spreading, the yeast is good and well. If it falls to the bottom and nothing now go on, your yeast dead. So therefore you can't use it to make the wine. If you have a winemaking kit available, this would be the ideal thing to make your wine in, because you have an airlock here that can tell you when fermentation is happening and when it stops. This is filled with water, and when the wine is being made and the CO2 is being given off, the water in here bubbles. So automatically when no bubbles is coming up in here, you know that fermentation done. So you can pour off your thing. If you're just going the real homemade style, when you don't have the facility, all you have is a keg. So you're going to work from the books. The book says 3 weeks. Say you're making pineapple wine. It's nice to use. The best sugar to use in that case would be the granulated sugar. Remember, the granulated sugar is clear, so you would see the yellow, it would show up. If you're doing a batch of roots, you're going to be sweetening with molasses and the dark sugar. Because when you drink your roots, you want that earthy taste. The fact of the matter is, when you break it up, you expose more surface area. So therefore, you're going to get more flavor being extracted. So that is why you pulverize it. After you finish everything, because the heat is a factor, you store your wine in a dark area, dark, cool area. Today we'll be doing a sorrel wine. It's Christmas time, so we have to nice up the place. The hot water is on the soil already, and we draw it, we start the sweetening process so we can speed up things. Now, this bag here is a nice little drawstring bag. It's like a strainer. It's through the soil here, and I lower it. Now, I leave the trash in the bag and keep it there so fermentation happens with it in the bag. The reason simple for that is the flavor at the end of the day is going to be stronger. When you use this and you have it in here, you don't go to 21 days. You go like day 19. You take out this and you get rid of it. And then you close it back. And on the 21 day, you get ready to throw off. After it has fermented and you throw it off, you can add some reagents to it so that it clears up easily. The recipe calls for 4 pounds of sugar. I've already added 2, so I'm going to add the other 2. So we're going to stir consistently to ensure that the sugar dissolves. Now, it is important to remember that the sugar content affects the alcohol content of the wine. You may add too much and just get a very sickeningly sweet wine because fermentation isn't complete. Now we are going to measure our yeast to add. You need 1 tablespoon of yeast. This mixture is sorrel, ginger. So all of those little things you see there, that's ginger. And of course, a little cinnamon and the sugar. It's important to remember, you see here, when you add your liquid, at no point it should be up here. You should leave space to facilitate circulation of the carbon dioxide. When you are setting your wine, label your things properly. Label the date that it was set, and you count off your 3 weeks and label the day you're going to throw off. Then now, you are going to close off your container. Put a little tape around here, and you do your thing, and 3 weeks later you throw off your wine. So we are going to decant, and please realize I'm not saying strain, I'm saying decanting, because strain you would get the impression that you're going to throw it to a sieve. We're not doing that, and you do it slowly. Now you see we're coming towards the end where you see the residue coming out, the yeast there. So you don't want that to get out, so you're going to put that down. And this, you're going to throw this away. And then now you cover this and you put it down, and you can, I usually tell my ladies, you can throw off every week. When it's nice and clear, then you can bottle.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
This is where your Jamaica Magazine program ends, but only on this station. We are available at your leisure at jis.gov.jm and on our YouTube channel. You may also connect with us on social media or through our mobile app. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.